My goal here was to create the best of both worlds lasagna. So I wanted it to be like light and kind of vegetable-y and feel kind of springy and not too dense and heavy. But I also wanted it to have that like authentic, silky smooth, classic lasagna vibe. I'm a bechamel sauce lasagna person rather than a ricotta mixture lasagna person. Not that I don't love ricotta, but when it comes to lasagna, I really love lots of thin layers of like a hearty sauce and creamy, silky bechamel. I'm here now and I've got everything ready, but we'll backtrack a little bit and let me just tell you how I got here. So I started by making the sauce. This is about one large onion that's just diced, and then 2 sticks of celery. There's more here because I'm making a double batch, so sorry if that's a little bit confusing, but the recipe is just 2 sticks of celery, and that's also diced. And then a couple zucchini. So it's equal parts zucchini to turkey, so it's like a full 500 grams, and that's just diced. You kind of want the zucchini to melt in. You want it to be fairly small. And then a few tablespoons of olive oil in a pot, followed by 2 tablespoons of fennel seeds. And you just want the fennel seeds to kind of sizzle up and you'll start to smell them and it'll be so, so nice. This is totally my favorite part of making this. And then in go the onions and the celery and the salt. And then you can just cover those up, let it simmer for a bit. And then, oh, and I added the zucchini without you looking. So the onions and celery went on their own for a bit, and then I added in the zucchini. And then I'm adding in 500 grams of ground lean turkey. And my favorite way to break up turkey or sausage or any kind of ground meat is with a potato masher. It's just so easy. Really gets the job done. So when all of that is broken up, it's just a matter of kind of letting it cook through. We're not really paying too much attention to getting any browning here. That was the garlic that just went in. And then just let it cook. After about 5 minutes, when the turkey's nice and brown, I'm putting in the bay leaves, 2 bay leaves, and a full 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, followed by about half a can worth of water just to kind of rinse out the can and make sure we're not leaving any behind. And give that a really nice good stir. Make sure everything's kind of combined. And then just pop a lid on and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. It could go longer, but it only needs about 30. And this is what it looks like when it's done. This sauce is so good, you guys. Okay, so the bechamel. We're putting 5 tablespoons of butter in the bottom of a pot, melting that. And then to the butter, we're gonna add 5 tablespoons of flour. So it's equal parts butter and flour. And you just want to whisk those together until it becomes a smooth kind of paste, I guess. This is just a roux. And you just want to make sure all the lumps of the flour come out of there, and then it'll kind of start to foam. I love making a roux too. I really just love a lot of things about this recipe. And then pour in the milk. So I had heated the milk a little bit in the microwave. And you want to pour it in gradually so that you don't get lumps, but not too gradually because it thickens up really fast. So I usually start with about 1/3 and then whisk more in. And then the bay leaves and some nutmeg. And then I like to cover it up with plastic wrap right on the surface so it doesn't get a skin. And then it's on to making the pasta. So you can absolutely buy pasta sheets. I really love them, especially the ones you don't have to boil, because boiling lasagna noodles is such a pain. I actually really don't like it, but I'm doing it anyway. So for me, pasta is like the same every time. It's equal parts eggs to flour. So this was a double batch, like I said, but for the recipe, it's 3 eggs to 300 grams of flour, and you might not need all that flour, so just kind of feel it out as you're kneading, and it'll amazingly eventually come together into this nice ball. And then cover the ball and let it just kind of rest for at least 30 minutes before you try and roll it out. I'm putting together my pasta roller, which, I mean, I think I'm definitely due to get one of those KitchenAid attachments, but whatever. So divide the dough into 4 and work with one little piece at a time. And then it's just a matter of starting on the first setting and working your way up to the thinner settings. And this particular dough, I went up to setting number 8. And it kind of kneads as it goes through as well. And the pasta dough is quite dry, which is kind of what you want, because otherwise it's a really sticky mess and you're having to add a lot more flour at this point. Whereas this dough, the equal parts eggs to flour, is quite stiff and you don't really need to worry about it too much. It's kind of like already got enough flour in it so it doesn't stick to itself. And then once it's on level 8, just cut the pieces according to the size of your container that you're gonna bake in, and then save the scraps. So we've got our meat sauce, we've got our bechamel sauce, we've got our noodles, and the one last thing that I didn't mention before was some Parmesan cheese. So this is, as Chris Morocco from the BA Test Kitchen calls it, blender parm. It's just one of the best ways to deal with your parm. You just buy a chunk and put it in the blender or a food processor and grind it up, and you end up with like the nubbly kind of crumbly parm rather than snowy, feathery, light and fluffy cloud kind of parm, which is what you get with a microplane. So now is the most annoying part of the process, which is cooking the noodles on their way into the lasagna dish. So I'm gonna kind of do this in stages along the way because it's really annoying to have, like, you know, spread out a bunch of cooked noodles. Like where are you gonna put them all? So I kind of like to cook them and layer them kind of at the same time. All right, so here's my casserole dish, and this is about a 9 by 13. I put a little bit of oil in the bottom already, and I'm going to put a little spoonful of the red sauce, the turkey sauce, in first, because this creates a little barrier so that the noodles don't just kind of suction to the bottom. So I've got some salted, it's gonna be salted in a minute, boiling water, and I'm going to cook my pasta sheets kind of as we go here. And like, if I didn't say it already, I did say it already, but let me just reiterate, I hate this part. When I'm cooking these lasagna sheets, they only take about 1 to 2 minutes at this point in the water. They are gonna get cooked again in the oven. And I only do about 2 sheets at a time because otherwise they just stick to each other and it's super annoying. Also, I tend to just use a shallow pan like this because what's the point in having a big deep pan if you're only boiling 2 pieces at once anyway? And then this just kind of gives me a bit more control. So again, I don't know, that was about 1 minute, right? So I'll just fish it out. I use like a wooden spoon thingy. And then just have somewhere to lay them out so they don't stick together. Round 1 of noodle. So for the first layer, I do tend to enjoy having the pasta come up the sides a tiny bit. Not that much. Having it come up the sides a little bit does help to keep everything contained. And then on the inner layers, I won't really do that. And then I like to use scraps to make sure that I'm making, covering the whole bottom. Let's try and keep track of the layers because this is very challenging for me. Each layer gets noodles and then a big whopping cupful of meat sauce. Spread it out nice and evenly. And then the bechamel sauce. I'm gonna estimate it's about a half of a cup of bechamel between each layer, but I'm not really measuring, I'm just gonna kind of wing it. And then a thin layer of parm. And normally when I get the pasta layer down and I'm about to spoon the sauces over, that's when I start the next pasta cooking. But I will do that now. My goal here is to get a minimum of 5 layers. I think any less than that is just no good. See, look how perfect that is. Perfect fit. We might just hit the fast forward button for all this, I think. So this is layer number, I want to say 5. I'm pretty sure that we got 5 layers here. We're getting close to the end of everything. I'm using up some last final bits to make one more layer. So really, like, the goal here is to just get as many layers as you can. This one is a bit subpar, but nobody will know because it's going to be covered up with sauce. So the last bit of the tomato sauce, I'm actually just going to save because this is like such a perfect little dinner for 1 or 2 with some rigatoni or something. And with the rest of the bechamel sauce, this is my favorite part. I'm going to pour all of it, and I made sure to keep a fair bit back. I'm going to pour it all over the top because this is what gives us the most wonderful crust ever. All of it. Thick layer, guys. I'll scrape this after, don't worry. So I'm going to evenly spread this as evenly as I can, all the way edge to edge. And then if you want to, you can put a few decorations on top. I don't know. I'm not a huge decoration person, but I do have these basil leaves. Yeah, something like that. And then finish with just a sprinkle of parm. This is one of the few circumstances where I use paper products for wrapping food. I try not to use too much like saran wrap and tinfoil in cooking, but it's kind of needed here. I like to rub the parchment paper with a little bit of oil so that it helps things to not stick. Because it is not fun to make this beautiful top layer and then rip the whole thing off with tinfoil. So oiled parchment paper down and then tinfoil over top. So the parchment paper is protecting the top and the tinfoil is locking all the heat in. But the thing is, I'm not actually baking this because I'm going to bring this to Mika's house so that she can bake it at home. I'll just text her with some instructions on how to do it. So I guess that means we can't see the final product. Just kidding. Just kidding, you guys. We can see the final product because I made another one earlier today. You ready for it? Oh my God. There she is. Look at that beast. I baked my lasagna at 350 degrees for 40 minutes with the covers on, the parchment paper and tinfoil on, and then took the cover off and baked it for another 20 minutes as is, and then that gave everything a chance to get nice and bubbly. And I'm not going to cut into it for like preferably half an hour, but I'm going to see if I can wait 5 to 10 minutes. been sitting for about maybe 10 minutes. It should really sit for like half an hour if I want these slices to come out perfect. But we're gonna tempt fate and see what happens. Oh yeah, not bad, not bad. So creamy. Whoa. Okay, this lasagna is next level. You can taste the fennel, which is so nice because it gives it kind of a turkey sausage vibe, even though I'm using lean ground turkey. And it's so silky and creamy with the bechamel sauce, and it's just pretty much perfect. I'm very, very happy with this lasagna. I'm gonna eat a lot of it tonight. Heed my words. Mark my words, heed my words. So that's it. Thanks for joining me to make this special gift lasagna, and I'll see you next time. If you like my videos, please hit the like button. And if you like to watch videos like this every week, please subscribe. Oh, and before I forget, the rest of this sauce is perfect to go with all of your fresh pasta scraps that you've accumulated in the lasagna noodle sheet making process. I'm gonna turn these into some kind of rustic noodle, probably just by slicing them into strips. And then that's gonna be such a nice little dinner with the leftover sauce.